Hello and welcome to Sheer Fucking Hubris, a podcast started by three buddies, three Star Trek fans. And each week we get together and we talk about Star Trek. I am Joe Bob. Joining me as always is Mr. Willie
Hello.
and also Biblio Warden.
Hello.
And we've done it. It's the series finale. Welcome to the final episode of Sheer Fucking Hubris. We are done. We watched seasons 2 of Strange New Worlds, episode 10, Hedge Money, and season 3 of Star Trek Picard, episode 10, The Final Generation. How are you gentlemen doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm surprised that this is the series finale,
This is it.
but we're done.
We're done.
Not doing this ever again.
Never again.
Okay.
And I will die on that hill. I will eat my own hat if we do another show.
Okay.
That's okay. We'll release new Sheer Fucking Hubris, and it'll be even better than the original.
Yes, it will be. It'll be Sheer Fucking Hubris with the blue stripe.
Sheer Fucking Nubris.
Well,
Oh,
you wanted to change it to Sheer Fucking Solids anyway.
you're right. I did.
I have heard
Since that's what Vatic said right before the TIE Interceptor blew out the bridge of the Star Wars ship.
Oh my God, she should have used the Force to just pull herself
Yes,
back
she should
in.
have.
I'm glad we got closure on what
should
the
have.
fuck the floating sinewy head thing was. That was really
I'm also
bothering me.
glad that we got that.
But they explained it very well in the finale.
They did. I
So this-
appreciate how there were no loose ends.
there were none. They tied. They didn't so much tie the end of those threads off as just burn it with a cigarette lighter and call it a gooey
They
plasticky mess.
cauterized it.
Yep. Oh my goodness. So yes, we have finished the final seasons that are available of Strange New Worlds and Picard. One of them I hope we get another season. One of them I hope we don't. Which is which?
God, Picard
Listen
4 will be amazing.
No. No. We got to get our part 2 though, because I was
Oh, we are.
well, these fucking writers striking, I mean, I'm all good and everything with you wanting more money, but I kind of don't give a shit about all your, we gotta feed our kids, we've gotta pay our rent. I want my Star Trek.
Are they striking as well? Like, I mean, is it just like across the board, or is it like certain networks, or what? I mean, I don't know how this works.
The writers were striking even before actors were.
Now, could you imagine how much better Discovery would have been if it hadn't had any full-time writers? Sorry, Grim.
Well, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's people being selfish. So they need to get their shit together and give me my Star Trek, because I don't care about their houses or their kids.
Exactly.
Anyway, obviously we stand with the writers and blah blah blah.
I mean, technically, we're generating some, original content here. Should we also be striking? Should we be showing solidarity?
I'm doing, yeah, but we're doing this pro boner. So
That is the best way to do it.
yeah, I'm not taking a
I
paycheck.
am always pro boner.
I'm not taking a paycheck.
Nice word.
We, but we're also kind of the studios, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people are actually doing indie stuff. I think that's
So does that mean we're
okay.
breaking our own picket line?
Mm-hmm.
We're our own scabs. No, I think that it's okay to
I
do indie
can't.
stuff. It's just you can't work for the big studios, which
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
surprisingly enough, we don't. Paramount Plus hadn't picked this show up yet. I can't figure out why. It's better than the fucking Ready Room. So, oh my god, bring
Starring Will
Alex
Wheaton, right?
Kurtzman on this. I'll ask him the hardball questions that Wheaton's too much of a pussy to ask. Oh my god, I have questions for you, Mr. Alex.
No man. Look, he took a lesson
Like,
from
dude, what
T-Rex
were you
piss.
smoking?
What was that, Willie?
Boy. I said no. He took
Sorry.
lessons from the T-Rex piss in Jurassic Park 3. So how did you get that? You don't want to know. All right, plot line ended. Plot line complete.
Oh my god, I bet he was watching Star Trek Picard this season, just pissed off. I hope he was anyway. I hope he was embarrassed by the whole thing. But let's get into Picard.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I actually, before I get into it, let me do one thing. Just a second. Sorry.
I feel like there's an antic coming.
Oh dear God. Do you?
Alrighty, I'm back.
There's always an antic.
Yeah. I had to turn off my dehumidifier. Pump kicked on. It was roaring like a bitch. Anyway, all right, starts.
Well, you've got some great noise canceling there because we heard nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nada.
Well, good. I'm using the Apple EarPod Special, so it's not like there's anything special.
Makes sense then. Yeah, those things are real.
Oh my god.
All right.
Should we do the recap? Let's just jump.
I mean,
Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Let's
We've
just
done
do
it
it.
this
Let's
way for
get it.
9
Yeah.
episodes. Fuck it. Let's do it. Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10.
Stop thinking so linearly and just do the recap.
The Last Generation. We'll get there, Willie. So we start out with the message from President
why wait?
Chekhov.
It's non-linear. Let's go backwards. Let's just start with the insanity first and work our way back.
So we end with a mid-credit scene of Q showing up. No. We start with Chekhov, goddammit. It's
Oh my gosh, did we ever?
I am president of Earth now.
Yeah. As my grandfather would have said, because he's actually me.
Yeah. Oh.
I was about to say, I was
cute.
like,
I love how he sounded like
I was like, man.
he
I was like,
did
his
the
Chekhov
impression.
is spot on.
Oh.
Allow me to quote myself.
Allow myself to quote myself. God damn it, y'all are ruining what should be a nice moment. They named him Anton Chekhov, which was a
Yeah,
nice
they did. I noticed
Anton
that.
that played Chekhov that died tragically.
Yeah. Anton Yeltsin or something like that.
Yelchin, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, it was no lies.
And he's warning everybody to stay away. Kind of like the Federation president in Star Trek 4.
We've
got
Planetary Sterilization Plan 5 enacted right here.
Yeah. And people on the bridge are like, if space dock falls, Earth falls. And if Earth falls, everything dies. And I was like, okay.
I hope we don't have the stakes too high.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want. It's a good thing they're not being human centric or anything.
Well, I assume that maybe it's because Starfleet's headquarters and the Federation are both headquartered there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, but you think the Klingons and Bajorans and I guess the Bajorans maybe federate Klingons, Cardassians, Romulans might could get together and stand up against the Federation fleet, but maybe
look,
not.
we've seen what happens when the Federation falls, right? That's what happened to the Burn.
Well, and to be
But
honest,
the Burn was everybody. It was dilithium everywhere.
Well,
don't forget, like the Vulcans, the Andorians, they all have their own fleet still. I mean, there's still a small Vulcan, at least a small Vulcan fleet, from what I understand, and I'm pretty sure the others probably have something. So
they just need to come over and give them an old Vulcan hello.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not going to face against all of Starfleet. Look, they said it. Let's move on. Because I want to say this: Earth space dock is a fucking beast.
Tank. It is
oh my
tank.
god, yes.
It is the
Have mercy.
tankiest motherfucking tank I have ever seen.
Now we know why
Yeah,
they're built to look like such pudgy little bastards. Because that's apparently armor plating all around it.
I was like, oh shit, they're fucked. And it took a licking. I mean, it went down eventually, but holy fuck, it took a pounding first.
Yeah, well, us pudgy bastards can take quite a pounding, so
I don't think you can take
that however you want to.
I don't think you can take that many photon torpedoes. But anywho, so they're hauling ass in the D back to Earth. Not really sure what they're gonna do as one ship, but then they're like, "Wait, we got a signal coming from Jupiter." Like, what?
Yeah. Come again.
Yeah, and I guess that
Here we go a little fast and loose with the gas giants again, like we did at the end of Disco.
They pop out. They're like, they hit a Borg cube inside Jupiter this whole time. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. And it pops out. It's the size of the red spot. I'm like, okay. Like 3 Earths.
It's like if the Viet Cong were spacefaring.
Jesus.
We was always
It's like the Viet Cong.
We was always hunting for this guy named Charlie.
Oh
no!
Jeez.
Oh, this is going to be a bad night for my abs, isn't it?
I mean, whatever. What did the Borg cube hide in there, or they hid the transwarp conduit? Joe Bob, stop being so obtuse. It was the transwarp conduit that was in there.
But either way, it was bigger than planet Earth. Like when you look at the size of it,
by far, yeah. I just took this with a grain of salt. I mean, let's also not forget this wasn't like a Borg cube. This was like the Borg antenna that had like a full city, like on the surface of radio towers. I guess. Hell, I don't know. Whatever.
It was something.
I mean, is it not reasonable to assume that like all the moons of Jupiter, we at least have some kind of stations on them? I mean, hell, in Discovery, wasn't Titan? Was Titan Saturn or Jupiter?
Yeah, it's Titan is Saturn.
But so either way, my point being,
they would have.
I feel like this wouldn't have flown under the radar like it did.
It would have been difficult.
Look at the red spot now. You think we would have noticed a big hulking ship or transwarp conduit sitting there? And furthermore, why didn't they use this before? I feel like she should have been like, this thing would have come in handy when we were
people.
Oh man,
I just don't know how you slip something that big into
lots of lube, Warden. Lots of lube.
The Sol system.
I was about to say I was getting my that's what she said ready, and you just didn't finish. That's what she said. Exactly.
Okay, I know plenty about
Let's see.
lube. That takes. That's not. There's not
He
enough.
paused. It
in
was the
the
deep
entire
breath
soul
before the
system.
plunge.
That's right. Oh boy. Where are we in the episode? I don't even remember. I mean, we were so the
Basically, President Chekhov. That's all the.
Is that all
yeah,
we've
Brad.
done so far?
Well, okay, no, we've the Enterprise has come into Earth, and we're found Jupiter.
Yeah, Comrade
and
Commander Chekhov said, "Don't come to Earth."
So
And
they
so
decide to
we're
go.
gonna
They
go to
decide to
Earth.
go, but they divert to Jupiter, and they're like, "I hear Jack." Beverly somehow identifies the one human life sign above, picks it out of all these others,
Uh,
and the shields drop.
also,
And they're like, they're
I love that
inviting us
somehow we
in.
feel. I love that somehow we feel that Jupiter is a safe distance away from Earth with faster than light travel technology. You know that we can just like park there and kind of be under the radar, like they couldn't be there. And I didn't do the math, but I would assume that when the jig was up, the fleet could be in Jupiter really fast. Like it wasn't going to take them very long to get over there, right? But
No.
whatever, right?
But they didn't care about blowing Picard up because they lowered the shields and let him come right in. And he's like, Beverly, I'm going to get our boy. So,
Oh, jeez.
and Riker and Worf are like, let's make it a threesome. Right?
Yeah.
Riker's like,
I'm
God
saying,
damn
are
it.
you even hearing yourself? That was the best part of the episode.
That
That was the best part of the episode.
Boom, phrasing. Are we seriously not doing phrasing anymore? I think we need to work it back in the rotation, guys. Anyway, they beam over, and let me just say that I
This is
think
before or after Data gets a bad feeling.
this was after, right?
Yeah, and then
I think
Data also
Data
wanted to
says,
go.
yeah, he's
Mhm.
like,
He's
you
like,
gotta
no,
let me go, and Picard's like, nope, I'm gonna have something here for you and Beverly
yeah,
and Deanna to do, and
the
Jordan.
plot needs you here.
Trust me, it will all become
And
relevant
Data goes,
later.
"Ruh." And so
Yeah,
he
Data's like,
channels his best Chewbacca.
I got a bad feeling about this. I think they're fans of Star Wars.
I think so too.
Because we beam over and let's see, who called
That was
who called
Warden.
creepy Palpatine in Rise of
Warden called
Skywalker?
creepy Palpatine.
Because sure enough, Borg Queen came down and was like, yes, I feel your anger. And Jack's sitting there
Oh, and
giving
then also we didn't just rip Star Wars. We ripped some Lord of the Rings too, where he comes. He's like, "This isn't a Borg cube. It's a tomb." I
yes,
was
Yep.
like, "Oh boy."
yes.
He
Oh,
picks up a little data pad. They've taken the second hall in the bridge.
drones. Drones in the
Borg in the
deep.
deep.
Drones in the deep.
We can't get out. They
Oh,
are coming.
thankfully, they do not have a cave troll.
Yeah. No, they did not. And then, but then we go Matrix, right? Then we plug him into the Matrix to go
Oh
find him.
yeah, we're not there yet. Because
I
Jackie
mean,
Boy is
we
sitting there.
ripped all sorts of IP in this thing.
He is going fire, fire, fire. I'm like, the whole point of being neurally networked is
Yeah,
you
say
don't
fire at will, dipshit.
have to. Yeah. But then they'd
Jeez.
all shoot at Riker.
Yeah, that's
Ta-da.
right. Was that a
That
Mad
was-
TV joke
No, probably.
or Cracked Magazine? Maybe.
One of my children legitimately said that though when we were watching the Dominion War episode. They're like, "Who is Will?" I'm like, no.
Nice.
Anyway, the Borg Queen is fucked up.
Yeah,
She's
that she is.
cannibalizing her own people, but she's so glad to have her son Jackie Boy back. And Locutus, you're here as well. I'm the boy's real mother. He's like, you are not his mother. And Jack doesn't want to leave. So Picard's like, what started 35 years ago ends tonight. And he jacks himself on. or jacks himself in, whatever, jacks himself.
They drop into the Matrix.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back
Because
on.
if you don't want to leave willingly, you can't get out. He goes and hands him the red pill and the blue pill. And then Picard says, wait a minute. I am 80. I'm going to hold this blue pill. You can take the red pill.
Take the red one, Jack. Oh, Jack doesn't want to leave. Meanwhile, I think back on the Falcon, Seven, or whatever, Seven's like, yes, I said closer. Move as close as you can and engage that fleet at point blank range. Rafi's like, at that close range, we won't last long against the fleet.
We'll last longer than we will against that Death Star.
So they're cloaking and
that was great. I
decloaking.
love the strafing runs.
Yeah, they are doing fuck all, but you know, Rafi and Seven need something to do. God damn it, they managed to. They turned somehow a phaser into a transporter. We're not even gonna techno babble that. She's like, this is a great.
That one was pretty good. Or the fact that for some reason, even though all the way across the galaxy, Jack hijacks the fleet, he still has to have line of sight to him. I mean, this is like D&D.
That's so dumb.
I take 2 steps over behind a boulder. Line of sight broken.
But apparently Rafi stopped by the kitchen on the way and said, "Any of you cooks fly?" And this one guy goes, "I fly.
I'm a cook.
I'm a pilot."
We had to get it in there.
Of course you did.
The only white shirt I've ever seen on the bridge.
But it's okay because Seven gives the best pep talk ever, which is, I'm not saying that you're any good. I'm not even saying that you're going to survive. But today, you're a pilot. And he says, aye, aye, sir. And then sits down and does some of the most complicated strafing runs ever.
I know, right? It's all made possible because Rafi figures out that the fleet protocol is based on line of sight. And I'm like, what? Because in a big-ass battle, there'd never be debris or a ship or maybe fly in between your 2 ships. That is absolutely stupid.
I know, it's insane.
You know, let alone...
Look, but you're right. They had to be doing something, right? I mean, Picard was getting ready for his Episode 4 trench run to take out some of those turrets to start with. so that we could prepare for the Star Wars 6 reactor core run. So that then we could prepare for the Star Wars Episode 5. I know where they are.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
No, we are. This is just all one big shit show.
So they go down and into the room. Picard jacks himself into the Matrix. He gets Jack to come out. Meanwhile, they're like, there's a lot of fire coming from the deflection tower, so Beverly's like, I got this. They're like, pull up, Luke. Like, I got a little cooked, but I'm okay. A lot's happened in 20 years because they're all looking at her like, where the fuck did that come from? Doctor.
I thought that was actually kind of hilarious.
I liked it too. And they're like, we found the main reactor for the death transwarp conduit, whatever.
Death transwarp.
And they're like, how can we get to the center? And somebody's like, quick, use the Windows 95 Pipe Dream screensaver. And it plots a course.
Oh, jeez.
And Data's like, he's like the kitchen bots back on Saru's planet. He's like, damn it, I can do this. Send me in with just my melon baller.
I will extract this core.
No, he harkens back to a good scene with Geordi and Data and TNG. It says, you know, Data, sometimes you just got to trust your gut. And he's like, Geordi, I'm trusting my gut. And look at me, I have a big one now. And Geordi's like, ain't argue with that. And he's like, all right, butterfly in the sky, go fly twice as high. And Beverly's like, why am I sensing someone has a full erection? And Data just giggles.
You know, I'm also just going to say it. It really makes it tragic how many people died over the history of TNG when it only takes 3 people to command the entire ship.
All those quote unquote emergencies in engineering. What the fuck was Geordi doing? Like, you don't even need anybody in the entire Star Drive section of whatever. Look, we got the band back together on the main stage. We're not worried about the fucking satellite stages here, Willie.
Like at least do the Battle Bridge gig, right? Like that at
No,
least would have
no.
made more sense.
No, because it had to be on the bridge of the D. You're not going to bring all these fuckers back and then put them on the battle bridge.
That's right. What was I thinking?
That would be some Bush League shit. Anyway. So Data's power sliding the D through all of that, and Wedge goes for the reactor on the North Tower and takes it out. And he's just got to hit the core, and they're like, this is tied into everything. So
we'll start a chain reaction.
And Beverly's like, they're gonna kill my baby boy. And someone says, I think it's Deanna, is like, look, either we blow it and we kill everyone down there, or we don't, and everyone else in the universe dies. And I'm like, once again,
I know, right?
Stakes are already high enough.
I mean, I wish you'd have said what we were all thinking, which was like, God, what a dick move. Like, why would you even say that?
I know.
Of course,
But Beverly gives me
into a corner on this one.
Beverly gives the order and shoots it, and the Borg Queen screams, "No!" And Will says, "I love you, Imzadi. I'll be waiting with baby boy on the other side. Hear me, Deanna."
Leia.
And then back on the Falcon, Deanna's like, "Will, Chewie, I know where Will is.
I know where they are. You have to go get them." But this was totally original because the ship came in above them instead of below them.
Right, yeah.
And I love how they can see it. Did they not understand scale of this thing? Like,
we've already discussed that.
This was like the Enterprise the size of the shuttlecraft, not the Enterprise the size of the Enterprise. I mean,
this series does not work well with scale. Just
maybe it makes sense. Maybe it makes sense there was a Borg cube the size of the giant red spot on Jupiter if you were going to pilot a Galaxy-class starship down it, inside of the thing. It obviously had to be a pretty big cube.
Yeah.
Because the cubes we've seen in previous TNG were not big enough for that.
It's almost like they designed it to be to the exact specifications of like, okay, the internal passageways have to be big enough for a Galaxy-class starship to fit through. I thought it would have been kind of cool if they'd have done a saucer separation and just done the saucer section through there, so you could have. So then it really would have looked like the Millennium Falcon having to turn and go through.
Yeah,
but they didn't do that, surprisingly. But yeah,
Picard. Of course, I don't nearly get the impression that the saucer section by itself is all that maneuverable.
Well, I never got the impression that the D by itself was all that maneuverable. But whatever.
He really knows how to work the walls, doesn't it? But
impressive. But yeah, Picard tells Jack, he's like, "No, you're coming with me. I've got to save you." And Jack's like, "You already have. Tell Dr. Crusher, you were right. You were right about me." He's like, "No," and he pulls him, and they beam out just in time. And then the D comes flying out as the thing explodes, and Lando goes, "Yeah!" And
because
I mean, Worf is like, "Yeah."
Yeah, he does kind of look like I can't even think of what that guy's name is.
Neon Nub.
Nub. Yeah.
Shit! I forgot my train of thought by that tangent. No, I was gonna say. I mean, I guess every other new Trek we've watched has absolutely no repercussions. So why should we have expected anything differently out of this one, right?
And this all conveniently happens just as Sydney and her band of Borg misfits have gotten back to the bridge, and she's holding a phaser at Seven's face. And she's like, "What was I about to do?" And Seven gives her a big hug while Sydney cries. I liked it. All right.
That's okay. That was Jordy's girls.
It
I'm
was
glad we got
Jordy's
them back.
girls, and they call Dad, and they're like, "Hey, we're here," and he starts crying. It's cute. And then we return to the king. So get ready for 5 fucking endings.
Yes, because the plot ends like before the half-hour mark.
Yeah.
So
The story is over.
Yeah.
Like, now that we got that out of the way, let me take your nostalgia dick deep down my throat and just fillet it for another 27 minutes.
Well, one of y'all called it with Seven being the captain and Rafi being the first officer before the show was over.
Mhm.
I think it was Joe Bob.
Yeah.
He said
I
they were going to
think I
all make
did.
up and be captain and first officer or something.
So everybody gets an ending. Well, first Picard comes back, and it's him and Jack and Beverly. I swear to God, I didn't know this in the first episode, but Laris might as well have been packing herself up in those boxes that Picard was getting rid of, because she got shipped off and never brought up again.
I mean, it would have been better just to have written her out completely, and just Picard being like, "Yeah, I gave it a shot. It didn't work out."
Did you remember the Simpsons episode where they had Poochie, and then they're just like, and Poochie went back to his planet and was never seen again. It was like that. It was like that. This season, I fully think this season is a middle finger to seasons 1 and 2. I think that whatever the guy's Terry Matalas, is that the guy that was the showrunner and directed it and wrote it? I think that's his name. I think you looked at the first 2 seasons, I was like, fuck that. Because there's just too many times where it Rise of Skywalker, the TLJ mess that came before it. Like,
yeah, like with
you had
with Laris.
Yeah, they're like, Q's dead.
Will
No,
Wheaton's
fuck
out
that.
of it.
He's not. They're like, we haven't seen the Borg since First Contact. What about like the last 2 seasons when we saw the Borg? And Shaw straight up said, not the hippy dippy bullshit Borg. I'm talking about real Borg. Data was like, yeah, I know that you saw me die, but fuck that. This is the real me. Will and Deanna, they made fun of fucking Planet Pizza. They're like, I hated that goddamn cabin and your shitty ass pizza. Elnor died off screen. The only ship mentioned in this whole brouhaha. They're like, oh, look, Excelsior's broken free. Go Elnor. Uh-oh, the Excelsior just got blowed up. All hands lost. Yeah,
he did not choose to live.
Well, he was probably a Borg.
Yeah, he probably was. I think that I think there were multiple things done as digs at season 1 and 2. I mean, honestly, you could take the fact that it had an actual plot as a dig at season 2, but anyway, so remember I said, I'm like, how are they going to rectify Picard and Beverly and Picard and Laris by the end of the season? And they just fucking didn't.
They did not.
About it.
Yeah, they did not.
They're like, forget about Laris. This is Picard and Beverly show. So I think Picard and Beverly and Jack's ending is Jack gets fast tracked to Starfleet. And he's nervous.
As confidant. Right.
He's the ship's counselor.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he should have to wear Troy's cat suits.
I guess he got that position because he had at that point been inside as many Starfleet officers' heads as Troy. Been inside as many as Riker.
I mean, you got to know that guy's going to be labeled as a brown noser, as the ensign who just got out of Starfleet, being like the pool boy for the captain.
But at least he called it out. He's like, they're like, oh, the name doesn't hurt. He's like, a little bit of nepotism.
Mm-hmm.
But the big surprise is that they named the Enterprise, they named the Titan the Enterprise G. Pour one out for my homie, the Enterprise F. We hardly knew ye.
Yeah. I actually thought they were going to call it the Picard.
I kind of did too. I mean, honestly, I think it still should have been the Titan, but I guess every ship that's important got to be the Enterprise. We tried that shit
Yeah.
with Voyager,
Yeah.
and nobody liked it.
What is it with and it's and I can't remember anymore, but what is it? I mean, I don't know. I always thought the whole idea of renaming a ship that had already been christened was kind of like considered a bad idea. And yet, like, current science fiction seems to be doing it right and left, and I cannot remember for the life of me the other example of this
Well, this is
from recent.
This is the third time they've done it in Star Trek.
That's
Because the Enterprise A was originally the Yorktown, and the Defiant. After the Defiant got blew up, they transferred the Sao Paulo in and renamed it Defiant. So,
yeah. But anyway.
but yes, in current maritime tradition, it is considered bad luck to change the name of a christened ship. But Star Trek doesn't give a fuck. They're like, we're gonna have our title ship be the Enterprise. And by the way, even though it's got Rafi in it, I'd watch this fucking show. Captain Seven, Counselor Jack, Crash LaForge.
Well,
I'm on board.
you may be watching that show one day. Be careful what you wish for.
There's a. If you want to talk about things that might have gotten hijacked by the damn it,
Writers strike.
The strike. There was a big push before that for a show called Star Trek Legacy, which is basically the show that they were teasing at the end of this episode.
I'm okay with it. I was sitting there thinking, hey, I'd watch those. I wish Shaw was still alive, still a captain.
Mm-hmm.
But Shaw
would be like an emergency engineering hologram.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be great.
They'll call it like dipshit protocol.
Grease monkey.
Shaw is part of Seven's ending. She gets an ending. She goes to resign, and Tuvok's like, resignation denied.
Yeah.
And Shaw loved her all along. So
I love how
she breaks the rule. It's because it was already broken.
That's right. I love how we kept all the critical people that we hijacked by the changelings alive so we could interrogate them, but also so that we could have them available for this moment.
Yep. So Rafi gets her ending.
We got the
honorable
Armageddon
maverick.
ending.
Her kids will call and want to see her because suddenly all her medals of valor flashed up on every screen in their house, and I did like it more like it must have been an honorable maverick who did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Rafi's still a piece of shit, but I will say this for this season. When she's with Worf, and they kept her with Worf most of the time, I hate her slightly less. And to be perfectly fair, if this season were the only time I had ever seen Rafi, I wouldn't absolutely hate her. That is the last good thing I will ever say about Rafaela of the House Mustafar. Worf gets his ending because he finally gets a fucking nap.
Which I thought was hilarious.
That may actually have been my favorite part of it, Willie. Because he sits down and like 20 seconds later, he's doing the old man snore.
Dozing. Yeah.
And we have all seen old men do that. So it's like 100%. If that didn't strike a chord with you, then you did not have enough male figures in your life growing up.
That's right. That was like Thanksgiving in Alabama right there.
Exactly. The tryptophan is set in.
Yep.
Beverly gets her ending because she's had a Starfleet medical, and she figures out how to fix everybody and everything. They're like, "Oh, you've been gone for 20 years. We don't give a shit."
Yeah, they wrote out the changelings pretty easily.
Admiral Crusher.
Suddenly it makes no difference that she's been out of the loop for whatever.
Well, I guess they
at the beginning of the season that one bitchy doctor was like super dismissive, and now all of a sudden,
well, in fairness, they did kill like probably 85-90% of the people over 25. So They're probably calling
True.
a bunch of people out of reserves. Oh, Beverly gets her ending. Which ending am I missing? I feel like there's one more. Oh, Data goes to therapy.
Yeah, Data. Yeah, Data's going to therapy.
That was pretty funny. Riker
That
comes
was
in. He's
funny.
like, "Is he still batshit?"
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So it's like, "Oh, look, we've gone over our time by an hour."
Again. Yeah.
He's like, "Well, I'll see you tomorrow." Oh,
And the D's ending is it's in the it's at the Fleet Museum.
yeah, that's kind of
Refurbed.
That's kind of
That's
Geordie's ending
Geordie's
too, I
ending.
guess. I did. It's a nice tip of the hat, tip of the cap to Majel Barrett Roddenberry because they brought her voice back for the computer,
Yeah.
and you know they power her
Eh,
down, and Will's like, "What's that voice?" It's
Yeah.
like, "Wow, I don't miss her because usually that voice meant that it was a Loax on a Troy episode." Mm, but it was a nice sentiment.
And
I
then you
think that
had you had apparently Starbase 1 did not take very long to rebuild
no, it did
that
not.
massive superstructure. Or
Well,
maybe we
probably
flew in Starbase 2 and renamed it.
they found wreckage of it on a planet like the Death Star. They used a Sith dagger to
Maybe so.
locate, and they're like, "This thing is a fucking mule. It's not gonna break apart in reentry. It's tough." So they just carried it back up there and put a new coat of paint on it, and it was good to go.
I'd forgotten about the Sith dagger.
That was
Stupid to
that
have
might
the little hilt that pointed directly to it. I hate you.
that
I don't
might
even remember
be.
which one that was. That
It
was
doesn't it doesn't
that
point
was the
directly
Last
to it.
Jedi,
It's
right?
shaped perfectly with the
Yeah.
wreckage. This ancient daggers. That might be the dumbest part of a dumb
Yeah, that was
movie.
pretty dumb. That was pretty dumb. Yeah, that was the
Any
last one, right? Because the
Yeah.
last one had no lulls at all. The entire movie, it was all rise,
All rise.
like a Barney Stinson mixtape.
It was like it was like if a trailer was 2 hours long.
That's
Like, oh,
that's fair.
I wonder what this will be like when they actually explain it. That one little scene before they quick cut to
Mhm.
something else. Anyway, I think that's all of our endings, right? No,
I mean, Riker and Troy are going on vacation.
right. But then we get the big ending.
I love it. Kefar Prime or Orlando.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
No, what? Yeah.
Swamp Ass Orlando. Yeah, let me pick that. I don't know. Maybe Orlando's nice by then.
Computer, beam the sweat out of my crotch.
And then we get the real ending, I guess, which is them in 10 Forward, but they didn't hire Whoopi Goldberg to come back, so they're like, Guinan's giving us the side eye. And we get Picard quoting Shakespeare.
Being pedantic as ever.
Like he does.
We get a callback to the the TNG episode where everybody was drunk. And Data's like, I've just received a curious limerick. There once was a lady from Venus whose body was shaped like a Data.
Data.
And he starts it again. He's like, I always want to finish that one. And then we get the poker scene, and it
Yeah.
pulls out
You know what?
just
I
like
was
at the
okay
end of.
with that.
I
I was
was
okay with the poker scene.
100%. My nostalgia dick was, I mean, it was already rock
Throbbing.
hard at that point. So it was like, yeah, you know what? Just
Was that release? I mean,
no, that was aftercare. Pulling up, and it's giving you the theme, the outro theme. I mean, you know what?
Oh wait, speaking of outro theme, did you notice that at the intro it was the Enterprise flying through
I
making
did.
the marks?
I
So
did. And then the Starfleet Delta was Borgified.
yeah.
And it made the vroom. Oh, and then we get the post-credit scene of Jackie Boy there for his first day of work. He pulls out his little toy ships, turns around, and Q's like, don't think I'm dead. Mon Capitan Jr.
I thought you were dead. You think so linearly.
I had hoped the next generation
Inflation.
wouldn't think
Yeah.
so linearly.
You think so linearly. Inflation is high right now, and my investments aren't performing as I thought. So I'm back.
Q's back, baby. And so that's our little teaser post credit. And that was Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10, The Last Generation. And you know
Right.
what?
Pause for standing ovation.
Standing ovation from me. I don't know what you guys think, but TNG Season 8. Or maybe TNG The Epilogue. I said
Yeah.
at the beginning of the season, I'm like, you know what my hope for this season is that when I'm done watching it, I can just say all good things happened, and then they all went their separate ways. None of the movie bullshit happened. None of season 1 and 2 happened, and I can just come watch this and be like, and here's what happened 35 years later. And I feel like, yeah, I recommended this season to my mother who enjoyed the series, because I'm like, I think that if you enjoy the series, you will like this. It is a good, end cap for the series, and I don't ever want to see this crew again. What did you got, Warden? What did you think?
I thought it was, I mean, it was just as ridiculous as we made it sound, but it was fun.
It may have been more ridiculous than we made it sound. I actually feel like we took it easy on this because it's been 2 weeks since we watched it, and I forgot a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is definitely the
end,
final
my friend.
splooge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it was.
Oh dear.
It was. I mean, if you're looking at it next to Picard season 1 and 2, this was cinematic gold.
I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
So
This is.
it was fun. It was dumb. I still don't understand the entire plot of how we got from point A to point B. But you know what? It's fine. I mean, it makes total sense that the changelings teamed up with the Borg Queen and put a Borg cube in Jupiter and infiltrated transporter patterns and all that. Like, it makes no sense at all. Obviously, if whatever, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
I still don't understand the floating meathead.
Floating meathead was dumb, and maybe that was supposed to be the Borg Queen. I don't know.
I mean,
But
that's who she had to have been talking to, but I don't understand how her hand was a
conduit.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was stupid. Let's not get caught up on that because it was still fun. It was fun to see the old band back together. It was fun to sling some D. It was so much better than anything season 1 and 2 cobbled together.
Oh Christ!
My God, I cannot remember anybody's name anymore. Riker got to be more Riker than he ever was. I mean, that was.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's because he was an old man. He didn't care anymore.
Well, over the past 30 years, it's like the memes and stuff. People get exaggerated and stuff, and they leaned hard into all the Riker memes, basically.
Yeah,
and I'm there for it.
I thought it was actually kind of cool. I thought they didn't waste the fact that Geordi was in this. I thought it was really cool that they had. He was basically, he was in command at the end because everybody else was down in the cube, and I thought it was really. I just enjoyed how they portrayed him being very, very competent.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
because he never really got to have that that sort of competence. I mean, he was always doing engineering stuff. He never really.
Well, and to be fair, other than Picard, he outranked everybody.
Yeah.
He was a Commodore, and Riker and Worf were both captains. So, I mean, he was the highest ranking officer outside of Picard. I don't know, Crusher wasn't a member of Starfleet, so.
Right.
And I'll say this too. I didn't want it to be the Borg, but if we hadn't have gone to that well so much, like if the last time we had seen the Borg was Best of Both Worlds, or even First Contact, this would have been fine. In fact, I would have been like, "That's awesome." I'm okay with it. I wish we had not seen the Borg in seasons 1 and 2. I wish we had not used them so much in Voyager.
At the same time, if they're gonna do it again, at least it was as far as we can tell, it was to wrap that shit up.
I sure hope so. I never want to see the Borg again. I'm a little
certainly
surprised.
Not that way.
I'm a little surprised they left Seven's implants in, because this would have been a good thing to be like, oh well, we figured out why we couldn't remove them. It was because the Borg you were still picking up Borg signals from your transceiver stuff, but we pulled that shit out. But that's fine. That's what she's known for. I guess let her have it.
I mean, they made the whole season was emphasizing the fact that her identity is Seven, and
well, that's true.
So
that's true.
I don't know that they would. Yeah,
I just think it looks silly. But
well, but it's 1990s UPN like makeup. Of course, it's going to look silly 30 years later.
I will say this though: if they do bring this crew back, not the TNG crew, I never want to see them again. Like this is the perfect send off. Just let it be. But the legacy crew that Warden called it, put some goddamn lights on the bridge. That is my biggest technical complaint about this season. This show was entirely too fucking dark.
My wife makes fun of me all the time because every time I turn this show on, I have to go turn all the lights out because of the glare. Like I can't see anything because the screen's so dark. The glare is just terrible.
Yeah,
she's like, "You're such an old man." I'm like, "Well, maybe if they did it like they used to." She's like, "You're not helping your case at all." Like, well, back in my day, the bridge was well lit with that god awful fluorescent lighting that I now appreciate more than anything. Like a hospital.
Well, not only did they darken the bridge, they darkened the red in the command uniform so much. It is a dark maroon, to the point that like sometimes it looked like they were wearing black.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't even make sense for them to be that dark. It's not like this is like the yesterday's Enterprise timeline and they're at constant war or anything. This is the Dominion War's over. It's supposed to be happy time.
Yeah.
I mean, turn the fucking lights on.
I'm hoping that if they do another series, that will be fixed, because we can't be the only people that complained about it, because it was egregious.
Yes, it was.
Willie, I'm shocked you didn't call me Reese Bobby. I have never used the word egregious and you not made a Reese Bobby reference.
That's true. We were cellmates together. He was in prison with a school resource officer.
That's my one technical complaint. I do have a bit of a complaint about the storyline for this season's. Jack's character, he's getting a big old free pass. This is not like what happened with Locutus, where in the middle of a battle, the Borg beamed over, took Picard, assimilated him against his will, and used him as a weapon. Jack willingly went to the Borg in a situation where he wouldn't be with them otherwise. They had him guarded under lock and key. The Borg could not get to him. And he, of his own free will, decided he was going to go to the cube and take on the Queen himself. and he wasn't strong enough to do it. Got tied, didn't get I guess he did get assimilated, whatever you want to call it. And because of him, I don't know how many people died, but it's a lot. I mean, I think we can safely say easily in the thousands, more likely tens of thousands.
I mean, just on the ships alone, you had thousands probably.
Well, I'm just
There's
thinking
a
Earth
lot of
Space
ships in
Dock
the
alone.
Starbase 1. Plus,
And that was all because of his sheer fucking hubris. Thinking he could go
we
take
brought it full service. Full circle.
Way to tie it and did.
This is a serious finale. We're hit. It's all the greatest hits. Remind me to do a Giorgio impression at some point.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. We don't need to break that out, Warden. Racist.
Asshole.
But yeah, I just I think they really conveniently swept that under the rug and were like, okay, Jack, we'll let you go through Starfleet Academy in a year. I'm like, oh, he should probably be on trial. Like, or at least be banned from.
Maybe that's why Q's coming back. Q's gonna be like, this is such bullshit that they've let you off the hook for this. I came back from the dead just to put you back on trial.
I mean, do you guys disagree?
To put you back on schedule.
It is a very different situation from Locutus. Like,
yeah,
it is a very different.
If a Shaw character in 20 years blames Jack, I'm not gonna feel like bad for Jack. I'm gonna be like, he's absolutely fucking right, Jack. That's on you. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see if they did ever take that character further, how they handle that, because Jack should be absolutely racked with guilt, but he doesn't really seem to be. Well,
but he also seems to be one of those characters who can act very flippant in everyday interaction and then be like, not able to sleep. So, I mean,
this is true.
They did portray him kind of deep. So,
yeah.
Doesn't the big red spot on Jupiter move?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is not
storm?
Persistent. Yeah, it's a storm, and it lasts a long time, but it is not a permanent fixture.
Okay.
Theoretically, that could be a different big red spot, and it could be, I don't know, a lot smaller, I guess.
It's the B spot.
It does change size over time. So maybe in 400 or when's it set? 2400? Yeah, 400 years. Maybe it's shrank to the size of a Borg cube.
Or maybe it's maybe its size is dependent on the presence of a Borg cube. I don't know.
Or maybe it is the Borg cube. Maybe that's what they're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Borg laying in wait.
But why is it bigger in the past? Maybe it's full size because the collective's full size right now.
Maybe so.
This is a stupid line of thinking. Whatever.
It is, but no stupider than at least the first 2 seasons. So
let's never mention the first 2 seasons of Picard again.
Okay.
Because this one was good.
I know we will not keep to that. But...
I know we won't either. All right. Well done. Well done, Metalis. I think that's his name. Terry. T-Bone. T-Rex. Mm-hmm. Well done. Y'all want to talk about Strange New Worlds Season 2?
Sure.
Episode 10, The Hedge, Money.
I would love to.
We got our Gorn episode.
The Gorn are everywhere.
You beat me, damn it.
I watched this episode and I was like, "Have you guys watched it?" And Willie's like, "No." He's like, "I don't want it to end. I like to edge myself." And I was
Oh,
thinking,
jeez.
"Okay, well, you're gonna be edging a
Just
while."
how right I was.
Like, well, I
I
got good
did,
news for you, Willie.
here's the funny thing about it is like, you know how you're watching a show or a movie and you pause it to see how much is left? Because you're like, I feel like we got a lot to wrap up in a short period of time, right? I did that at one point and there was like 9 minutes left. And I was like, this is a Star Trek. Lately they're known for just wrapping shit up at a breakneck pace right at the end, so I'm not really worried about it. Well, joke was on me, huh?
Picard was the opposite. I'm like, "Holy shit, we've got 40 minutes left. We must be gonna Return of the King it." Excuse me. So yeah, we start off with Captain Bay and the Cuyahoga. They're beaming down to a
To
colony
to
based on wherever
Tulsa,
we're filming.
yeah, to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, and they're giving out vaccinations and whatnot. And Chapel's there because she's catching a ride to her fellowship. And
They really
I,
missed a chance to poke fun at like anti-vax people because they actually vaccinated everyone in the entire colony. Right? She's
yeah,
like, that was the last one. I was like, that's not believable. That doesn't happen.
there should have been one
Where's
guy that was a holdout and been like, "You're all gonna die now. You're all gonna die," and him been like the only survivor at the end and been like, "I told you it was the vaccines that attract the lizard peoples."
oh jeez. Wearing his aluminum foil helmet.
Yeah.
He had a colander on his head at the end.
Telling everybody, and Parnassus B is flat, by the way.
Oh,
I think that was
Lord.
the name of the ship.
It
Whatever.
was
Over the
something like
planet.
that.
It was something like that.
You got it. It's Parnassus Beta. Yeah.
Woohoo! So anyway, uh Pike calls and he's in his kitchen and he's like, "Hey, it's like, what do you want, Chris?" He's like, "Do I need a reason to call my best gal?" And she's like, "Chris, you're embarrassing me." And then she hangs up on him, or so he thinks, because really it's signal lost. And then somebody says, "Is that obviously Federation ship one of ours?" It's crashing through the air. And then, the Gorn fucking Independence Day, their ship right
Jeez.
into through the clouds and over, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we're in
And
trouble."
right out of the gate, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, how do the Gorn have such technologically advanced stuff? They're lizards. All I've ever seen is the Gorn from TOS, the Gorn from Enterprise, and the little baby Gorns from this show. I'm like, I've never seen an adult Gorn like do anything technological. Now, little did I know that within 40 minutes that would no longer be true. But at least at this point, I remember thinking, like, I'm just having trouble wrapping my mind around this. But, alas, continue, Joe Bob.
So anyway, back on the Enterprise, Pike's like, "Well, what happened? Bring her back. Play the whole message." And then they get a distress call from the Cuyahoga, and it's like, "The Gorn are everywhere." Pike's like, "Ortegas, full speed ahead." And along the way, they get a transmission from the Gorn. They're like, "The message is just a picture. It's the planet with a line drawn, and the moon is on this side of it, and the planet's on this
Yeah,
side." I'm
which
like, "Well,
made
that
no
makes no
sense.
goddamn sense
No
because that
sense.
that moon's going to rotate around that planet, orbit around that planet,
I thought
and
the
half the
same
time it's going
thing.
to be in Gorn space, half the time it's not." But
Oh my god.
whatever. And then a little later, the planet's going to actually probably orbit its sun, as planets tend to do, and it'll cross that line again. But I guess by then the Gorn will have eaten everybody. And April's like, "Stay away, Pike. We don't want to cause a war." And
And Pike says, I'm a Boy Scout.
no, Pike doesn't. Pike says
I
they're
want,
monsters, April. And
yeah.
sometimes monsters are just monsters. Damn. So when they get to Parnassus, they're like, "Let's check on the Cuyahoga," and then they're like, "Uh-oh!" They see half a saucer section. They're
I
like,
say, I thought you said this was
"Oh."
Alderaan. He's like, I'm telling you, this is Alderaan. It should be right here. They say, no, it's an asteroid field.
Pike
I was a
says,
little, I was a little, I gave them a wide berth on the whole, like, let's wait till the saucer section rotates again so we can see
"Yeah."
if sick bay's still there. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, Strange New Worlds, you've made a lot of deposits in the I'll put up with your bullshit account. So
Well,
just
you
go ahead
see,
and make a
Willie.
withdrawal right now.
You see, Willie, their sensors work on line of sight.
Let's
So,
be. Oh boy.
and Una looks over at Spock and is like, "Don't worry, I'm sure Chapel wasn't on that thing when it blew." Spock says, "She wasn't. I can feel it." No, Spock is like, "Oh no, I've got to apologize to her." I'm like, "For what?"
You didn't do anything.
I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, Spock?" He
Typical
should.
woman gaslighting her
I
boyfriend is what
know,
this
right?
was.
What he should have said is, "That bitch better not have died before saying she's sorry to me, or I'm gonna be pissed." But anyway,
I'll
Pike's
never
like,
have a chance to zero gravity fight with her ever again.
little does he know,
Little
his
did he
chance is
know.
coming. So anyway, before they get a chance to really absorb it, they're like, "Uh-oh, we got a ship coming in. It's a Gorn hunter." And Pike's like, "All right, everybody, command crew to the ready room now." He's like, "Look, we can't officially do this, so unofficially I'm asking for volunteers." And everybody's like, "We're all with you." And Luke comes in, he's like, "I'm with you too." I mean, not Luke, Sam. He's like, "I was a total pussy
So
the
is
last
Sam?
time the
Yeah,
Gorn."
I was about to say, is Sam a part of the command crew, or did he just like?
No,
I mean,
he
I know
just
that was the room where Spock was like flipping his shit over the coffee cups and the crumbs, but um, I was like, what is Sam doing here? Did he say command crew only? Somebody get this. Somebody get the scientists out of here.
he's George Kirk's son. So, you know. And he's like, he's like, "Look, I want to study the Gorn up close with a phaser so I know how to kill him." And Binga's like, "I would like to aid in that study. It
Yeah, I
has
did like
been
that line.
it has been days since I killed a man and I am getting itchy." I'm like, "God damn,
Very
doctor."
nice. Very nice, Major Payne. Major Mabinga.
It's basically what he is. you know,
Yeah.
his character's
Oh
not
man.
all that different from, he's learning how to blend in after being a killing machine. I'm surprised he wasn't reading his kid The Little Engine That Could, but that would have made a very different episode than Elysian Kingdom.
I'm tell you what though, I'm loving like we're like, well, why don't we just break out the Gorn box? And so we go and we beam it directly to the ready room and open it up.
Authorization. Authorization. Pike, fuck the Gorn 7.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the name of the box when they opened it was literally like Gorn Deterrent System or something like that.
Wasn't it like section 32 or something?
I don't
It
remember.
had a
I don't
number,
remember.
but I think it was 32.
Crate 32.
I think it was
It's crate
32.
32.
So it was like section
It is.
31 plus 1. Or as Ortega says it, break in case of Gorn. Oh, but anyway, they can't come up with a way to get to the surface without crossing the line. And Ortegas is like, "Well, I can do it. I'm a pilot. I fly." It's like, well, they're
And
not
we'll get out.
Yes, we know.
We'll release with the garbage and we'll just float right on by.
with the rest of the garbage. Pike's like, "Erica, you do have your moments. Not many of them, but you do have them."
And there may not be many more left because we're speaking way too fondly of you for you not to be killed.
"Erica, you were born for this." It's like,
Oh
I'm
my
finally
God.
getting to go on the away mission. First one ever.
All the
See what
signs are
it's all
there.
about. Yeah, I know.
This
I
is
was
like an
like,
Alanis Morissette song in the making.
my God. One of my
Good job, you got Joe Pop.
one of the best lines from Archer is Cyril tells him, I think this is that ironic. He's like, oh, really? This is like Alanis Morissette and O. Henry had a baby and named it this exact fucking situation. Oh my God, Archer's so good. Anyway. Oh, you made me lose. Okay, so yeah. So Ortegas is like, yeah, we could just float through the rest of the garbage. And Pike's like, all right, you're flying the ship. He's like, and we'll name this the Ortegas move. We'll have a big party for you when we get back. I'm like, oh God,
Yeah.
I'm not getting a warm fuzzy about Ortegas. And I already said last episode. In fact, I think I even said the next time he saw Captain Bay's titties, there was going to be a Gorn busting out from between them, and call that. So, yeah. So they decide they're going to pilot their way
Also,
through.
speaking of that, I also love how the little baby Gorn apparently sensed that they'd already like infiltrated Captain Bay, and then apparently she talks him away. Like, why didn't he still be like, well, what about these other two fuckers in here? They don't have any Gorn in them. Like, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Be like, be cool. I'm gonna let my offspring burst out and then kill him. Okay, I'm with you, dog. And then he runs away.
That is straight out of Alien 3.
Yes.
That is the exact same scene where they come up to Ripley and you don't know she's infected yet. And they just kind of look at her. It kind of looks her up and down slowly and then leaves. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. It's the exact same scene. But
I mean, it was pretty obvious that Captain Bay was infected, but
yeah. Well, I mean, like I said,
probably because of Alien 3.
I expected it based on last episode, so
Yeah.
I felt like they telegraphed it.
Also, I'm also glad to know that a priority one mission that she gets called away on was to go vaccinate some Midwesterners.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, no.
No, he called her out to be in the season 2 finale with the Gorn.
Oh, okay.
Not to vaccinate. He's like, that was the cover story. What we really want you to do is be involved in this whole fucking Gorn incident. But anyway, so yeah, she says we'll just float through the debris, and like it's like a zombie movie. Haven't you ever seen a zombie movie, Spock? He's like, my sister's in the fucking Walking Dead. Of course I've seen a zombie movie. God damn, we're just asking Spock. Shit. And he's like, I'm worried about Chapel. Leave me alone. So they fly down. They actually glue debris to the shuttle, which I thought was a nice and also dumb touch.
I didn't see that. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, it's got just like random chunks of metal glued to it.
My God,
we're
like
not
a ghillie
operating
suit.
yeah, it's a space ghillie suit. So we're operating under the assumption that the Gorn are actually like closely examining every piece, whatever. So they get down and they to the planet. Pike's all white knuckled. Like, I thought you were a test pilot. He's like, oh, I was, but you were born for this, Erica Ortegas, pilot who flies the ship.
And everybody's like, Ortegas, pull up. And she's like, steady. 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 Now. And of course, we have like the dramatic. It goes dips below the horizon for a minute.
Just one. I want it to dip below the horizon and there just be an explosion, because I feel like I've seen like I can't name each one, but I feel like I've seen a half a dozen movies where they do that. I know they did it in Top Gun.
GoldenEye. They did it in GoldenEye, right?
GoldenEye. They did it in Star Trek Into Darkness when they had to not Into Darkness, Beyond, where they had to jump start the ship by pushing it off the cliff.
Mhm.
I'm pretty
Oh
sure
boy.
Avengers did it at least once, if not more, or the MCU. Anyway,
Yeah.
they get down to the planet and they're like, "We got a Gorn coming." The spot and Captain Pike's like, "Terminate that bitch with extreme prejudice." So Laan does, and then
So
Sam's
we
like,
try
"We
the
got,"
new weapons out.
and they work. We established they work, and Sam is like, "We got multiple bogeys inbound." They're like, "Quick, head for the barber shop." My daughter was like, "Why barber shop?" I was like, "That's a good question." It it
Mr.
was there, and they
Sandman.
saw it.
Yeah.
The quartet's out there. Yeah.
Bring me a dream.
Please save our asses from these Gorn that we've seen.
So they
And
go in there though,
Nice.
and even though these like Gorn are supposedly uh hyper aware and can smell out human blood from miles away, they don't see like the 300 humans huddled in this place. Although at
Lahan's
least
like,
they
"Why aren't they attacking each other? They should be fighting for dominance." And Pike remembers his Boy Scout roots, and he 180s hard from his. Maybe they're
and he
just
says,
monsters. It's like,
aha, aha.
maybe we found a way to
Maybe we
communicate.
don't maybe we don't know about it. My God, Pike is always trying to be diplomatic.
Hmm.
It's so annoying.
He tries to give Laan a little pep talk. She's like, "Yeah, I've heard that one before." He's like, "Maybe I was just saying it because I needed to hear it." It's like, "Oh, that's right, Captain. I forgot you're a pussy."
That's
Oh, meanwhile, back
well,
on the
Lon,
bridge.
I see you didn't change your paradigm.
It's like, "God damn, you're such a bitch since Kirk shot you down." Anyway,
Look, Kirk has to go knock that woman up, or else we won't get Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. So just do everybody a favor and leave him alone.
he's like, "Oh, it's always about Khan with you people." God.
Oh, that is a funny. I didn't even think about that connection.
Yeah, that kind of is.
Yeah. If you want to see the wrath of Khan, no.
Oh boy.
Oh, the Kirk would be getting the wrath of Laan if he had not told her about his pregnant girlfriend until later. But yeah, that
Lon gave him crabs, and that was and Kirk was like, Lon, Lon.
Shit.
he calls her. He's like, "I am itching and burning," and she's like, "From hell's hot, I stab at thee."
From Hell Squats, I stab at thee.
From hell's twat. My last breath, I clit at thee.
Oh Lord.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness, y'all are ridiculous.
Yes, we are.
While y'all are talking all that trash, Uhura went to engineering and told Pellet she had a crazy idea, and Pellet's like, "I have crazy ideas." And so they
Because
decide,
you need an engineer.
what if we put booster rockets on the ship? And Spock's
My
like,
God, this.
"I am the only person that can
Yeah,
do this." And I was like,
no
"Why?"
one
He's
else
like,
can
"I
do
have
this
no time to explain it, but
in
it's
a zero
impossible
G
for a
environment.
human to do." And I was like,
No one else is strong enough. Spock, it's zero G. Be that as it may.
"No human could ever possibly do this." Spock, man, you're like, I get the chapels over there. He's like, "No, God damn it, it's only me," and we just gloss right over that.
Yep.
Meanwhile, our boys and girls down on the planet have picked up human life signs, so they go down, down on the corner, out in the street, and they look for Willie and the Po boys, but instead they just find a little techno bauble, and
Bauble.
I don't know what you want to
Nice.
call it.
That's good. That's perfect.
So they
Because
find it.
that's what we're about to get a lot of.
Yep. And they got caught in a trap. Chewie grabs the meat. Nice, Chewie. Always thinking with your stomach. Then we hear somebody, wait, you're not Gordon. And they're like, no, we're not, dumbass. He's like, Montgomery Scott, Lieutenant Junior Grade, at your service. And they're like, Captain Pike, Lieutenant Lon, Lieutenant Kirk, Lieutenant whoever. That's a lot of lieutenants.
That's a lot of lieutenants. That was a funny line. I liked that.
Yep. So we've met Scotty.
It's Scotty.
I felt better about the Scotty actor out of the gate than I did the Kirk actor.
Less Muppety.
What is it with you? It's like Ike on South Park, like just like the top of an egg that's bouncing around when he talks.
That's what I see. Anyway, him or the like, if he'd grew a mustache, he'd look like the Swedish chef. Spock.
Do not speak ill of the dead.
Anyway, so he asked Scotty if he knows. It's like, I'm tapping the ass of a certain captain on this planet. Do you happen to know if she might be around? He's like, yeah, I'll take you right to her. So she comes in and she's like, Chris, you fucking idiot. He's like,
Like
good to see
every
you
woman.
too."
Yeah.
And they explain that they can't run away. They can't get a signal out. And Scotty's like, I ran away from the Gorn in a shuttle. I fabricated a Gorn transponder on the fly. It's like, oh, well, let's go to your shuttle and get it. And they asked about Chapel, and she's like, oh, she transported back to the Cayuga.
So that's not good. That's not promising.
And Benga's like, obviously you have not seen the original series. She will be fine. Like, oh. Okay, but let's check in on Chapel, because that's exactly what we do. Half the ship's gone, but of course she's fine. She wakes up just in time to look out the window
alarm.
and see Spock.
See Spock.
And in space, no one can hear you tap on a fucking window. But she tries anyway. The odds of him
Don't even. Nope.
I'm not going to use the word contrived or convenient or coincidental. She just. They're like star-crossed lovers.
I mean, I'm loving these booster rockets that he's putting on there. Just strapping them down like little missiles.
Dude, the amount of thrust that must be in those booster rockets is just insane.
It is.
Because that's the thing about rockets. They are incredibly inefficient. Because in space, all of your thrust comes from the force of you've got to have enough mass being ejected out the back to move the mass of the ship you're trying to propel. And that saucer section's pretty fucking big. There's
and not only
way this
not
physics
only
out
are they decaying the orbit, which I could buy decaying the orbit. It wouldn't take much, although it still could take 1,000 years to decay. But
yeah.
Not only are they decaying the orbit, but they're going to bullseye the damn space dick on the planet.
Dude, Spock.
Yeah.
Spock is the fucking frisbee golf champion on Vulcan. Because he nails that bitch.
I mean, it's like when it hits, he's like dancing around. It worked. It actually worked. 88 miles per hour.
Is it at all possible that these may not be the same sort of rocket technology that we're familiar with?
It looks like
but let's
it is.
let's even say, okay, let's give that allowance. You still have to decay this thing's orbit and bullseye something on the planet or on the moon or on the planet. I don't actually know which one they were.
Well, also assuming the Gorn are really fucking stupid, that it would do that just automatically all on its own. Yeah, we're taking lots and lots of leaps in logic and science.
Well, and we're also assuming that they don't have sensors that can make, that can calculate paths and realize in time that that's probably heading in a bad direction.
Which also blows your theory about the rocket being like more efficient out of the water, because anything that's going to be that powerful is going to be a lot easier to pick up on sensors, right?
Not to mention,
Fair.
why in the world wouldn't they have done that calculation before they sent their crewmen over there to access the computers? Like, you would think they'd be like, yeah, maybe we should just make sure it's safe, but I don't know. Maybe the Gorn don't value whatever. The point is, Chapel doesn't concern herself with all this bullshit we just talked about. She's like, I bet he's headed to the bridge. I'm gonna grab a space pack and meet him there. And they do.
And there's the one golden space pack. Ask and ye shall receive. So she turned around. It's literally like right there in front of her. Like she opened the she opened the chest in the dungeon. She got the spacesuit. Now she's ready to go.
And we get to see our first grown-up Gorn in a Gorn spacesuit.
Oh my god.
He's fucking monkeying it from the ceiling with his tail.
And 0G.
How do you guys feel about the Gorn
Oh my god.
design?
I mean,
well, it was
they're
better than
actually
Enterprise.
kind of fucking terrifying, to be honest.
It is better than the one on Enterprise. I read somebody complaining like, well, why do they have a tail now? They've never had a tail. I actually had to go back and rewatch Enterprise because, I don't know, Mandela effect. I would have sworn that thing had a tail, but it did not.
I didn't realize that either.
So I think the tail was a good addition. They could always say it's just like a mechanical tail as part of the spacesuit. Just added a prehensile arm. But
as for why they didn't have a tail on the original Arena episode, because it was like the 60s and stuff.
Right. But like I said, I honestly thought they put one in Enterprise because I read somebody bitching about it. I was like, well, didn't they
realize that?
Like, they'd already added one. But I went back and watched the scene. It's like, no, they didn't, and it looked stupid. I thought the Gorn looked pretty badass in his spacesuit. I thought he.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was This is the first time in a while that they've actually had a scary alien in Star Trek. I honestly.
And it did seem like a logical evolutionary progression from not evolutionary, but maturation from what we've been seeing in the adolescence, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
he died pretty easily.
He did.
Because I thought Gorn.
He didn't go down easy, but yeah, I mean, once he was down, he was down.
Once they smashed his mask. So we've learned something else about them. They can't breathe in a 0G and vacuum environment.
It breathes.
Well,
we can kill it.
But I loved the tension of this moment, and then it being a 0G fight where it's like in slow motion. That part actually made me chuckle a little bit.
And Chapel reaching for the phaser and having to hook her foot onto the bridge so she doesn't fly away.
Like Kevin McAllister getting the tarantula to put on Marv.
Oh, I'm not going to do the screen because Discord won't record it.
No, it won't. You'll probably wake my kids up too.
Too high. Anyway, she has the old phaser, so it doesn't kill him. But it distracts him long enough for Spike to Spock him. And he spirals out, and apparently there's no communicators in the Gorn spacesuit either. He didn't radio back like, "Hey, I ran into some trouble here." But
well, he didn't have his flashlight anymore. If they can't talk to each other ship to ship, why do you think they could talk to each other?
That's right. Line of sight. Line of sight was a big theme in both of these episodes. All right, so by that point, I think Pike and Battelle and Scotty have reached the shuttle, and
But first, once again, right, we've got Chapel about to spacesuit out of careening into oblivion because didn't she do
Yeah.
that? And it was that season 1 where her and Mbenga did it.
Yep. They go
Mhm.
Got
right
20
up through the
seconds
top of the
before they
bridge.
find
Yep.
us. Yeah.
And the ship goes careening down, and Spock and Chapel are just like, let's take a little lover stroll back to the Enterprise. And
If you almost get killed by the same ship blowing up twice in one day, just stay home from work the next day because the deck is obviously stacked against you.
yeah. And so the Cayuga starts going down, and by that point, Scotty and Battelle and Pike have found the shuttle, and that's when we get the Alien 3 scene of the Gorn comes
Mhm.
and just looks at her and runs away. And Pike's like, "What is that all about?" And she's like, "I'm gonna bury the lead just a little bit." And Scotty's like, "Oh, I hate to break this up, but incoming."
Can we talk about what it would have been like to have been at ground zero when that
Yeah,
massive piece of space
no,
debris hit?
no, we can't talk about it because that would have been like a nuclear uh, explosion going off.
Mhm.
Yeah, they all would have been just
That's a pure kinetic weapon. Yeah, that's
maybe Scotty activated the shuttle shields right at the last moment, and yeah, I mean, as far as how the town survived, not getting hit with the shockwave from that blast,
They fired the rockets at the last second.
science was not a thing in this episode. I feel like, oh,
You were made to believe it was,
you
but
were
it wasn't.
made to believe it was, but that's about it. Um, by that point, I think we've, and so at that point, we can start beaming people back to the bridge or to Enterprise because we've destroyed the Gorn signal blocker.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
But we see an ominously green transporter beam hit them.
well, first, no, the first round is uh, Pike and Benga, not Benga, Pike, Scotty, and Battelle. Yeah, because they were the ones that went off on the side quest. And Battelle before they go, she's like, "Look, I got infected. I'm carrying a Gorn baby. I didn't want to tell you, Chris. Sorry." He's like, "We'll save you. Don't worry." I'm like, "I'm betting you won't, but okay."
No.
And then I'm like, "Well, just put her in the pattern buffer. She'll be fine."
Yeah.
Don't reset it.
Scotty
Or
beams up.
don't reboot it.
He runs into Pella. She's like, "Mr. Scott." He's like, "Professor Peloton." They have a moment. He's like, "I'm coming for your job, you old hag." Anyway. And then back on the planet, we start beaming the survivors out. But as Willie pointed out, the color is not quite right. Neither is the consistency nor the texture of this beaming effect. And Pike's like, "Did we get them?" And they're like, "Nope, they were beamed away, but they went to the Gorn ship." And Pike fucking freezes. Everybody's like, "What do we do, Captain? What do we do?" And Pike's just like, "Oh, what?" Like looking back and forth. And April says, "Withdraw immediately." And one of them said, maybe it's Una, says, "They still have our people." Pike just like looking there, and he opens his mouth to say something, and it says, "To be done at a later time when the writers get off their asses and write the rest of it." The end. And that is season 2 of Strange New Worlds,
See,
episode 10, Hegemony.
Hegemony. I was very confused by the dichotomy of Gorn technology in this episode versus what we've seen before.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna go that. I'm not
Unless
gonna have
they,
that discussion.
unless maybe they teamed up with the the Peclids or whatever the technology thieves were.
Paclid.
Peclids, yeah.
I'm very confused about Federation technology in this episode. So
That's true too. So
oh, been a while since we've had a season-ending cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I guess with this being our episodic show, this is something they did in episodic shows, but it was really
It certainly
fucking
is.
different when you had a season-ending cliffhanger and like I forget when the season ended. It was like it was always right at the
September.
beginning of some. No, that's when it started.
Oh,
It would run from like September. They basically run the school year. So like it would end like late May or early June, and then you have 3 months of reruns, and then September, maybe October, somewhere in the fall, you would get your fall sweeps, which would be everything. So you only had to wait like 3 months, but we're not going to get the next episode till at least 2024, and that might be optimistic at this point. It may be 2025.
And it might even be late 2024 at best. Yeah.
Yeah, I think any time in 2024 is optimistic at this point. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but
Yeah, I mean, well, in fairness to them, they probably didn't. They should have, but they probably didn't foresee, like, oh shit, this is going to take longer than it should. Because these fools are going to go on strike.
yeah, but even so, I mean, with streaming services, it's still going to be a year. Best case scenario, it's not 3 months. Can't believe you called them fools, you fucking fascist.
I was speaking from the point of view of the studio.
Warden, this is the
I was
working
acting.
class man trying to feed his family and pay rent in a fucking city where cost of living is through the goddamn roof. Have a heart, you Republican cunt. Willie?
red state and proud.
I mean, oh, you.
There's only one shade on Warden's pride flag. Red.
Sure.
He's moving away from us so fast the whole rainbow is red shifted. Or moving away is red shift, right?
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about this episode, Warden? You've been quiet other than when you were trying to crush the Union.
I mean, I don't know that I was that quiet. I was letting you talk. Unlike some people. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun. It was action oriented. Yes, I mean, you already mentioned the science is a little. Granted, I mean, we are criticizing the science of a show that's in the future, and who knows. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm happy that they are creating an opportunity for there to be. Excuse me. Sorry, it's getting late. Getting to be so that there's better closure for Chapel and Spock, because that would be nice. But yeah, I'm out of practice with the whole the whole cliffhanger thing. This should be interesting. Scotty,
With the whole what thing?
the whole to be
all right.
yeah. I see. I have no words tonight. I actually said the correct words.
Cliffhanger?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought you said coat hanger. That's what was confusing me. Anyway.
That's how they're going to solve Captain Patel's problem. So
That's
Jeez.
it's.
Jeez, that is dark.
Ooh,
That
for
is.
those of you who had coat
Ooh.
hanger abortion joke on your bingo card, I'm sorry you had to wait till the final episode.
Ooh.
But I bet you didn't have it coming from Warden.
Put some Enterprise D lighting in this bitch because that was dark.
Ooh.
what can I say?
That joke was so dark it can't even drive through Warden's neighborhood without getting pulled over.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no, it's I thought it was fun. I'm like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the whole season. It's weird because it feels both earned and unearned at the same time because they've been building up the Gorn stuff, but I don't know that they built it up this much. I don't know. I might need to watch it again. I just, it's one of those things where I'm like, they have been doing some, as we said, some Gord spade work and so forth, but they definitely for most of this season took kind of like an extended break from anything Gorn related, other than just like a drop in mention here and there. And then to have just this much Gornness and this much new Gorn lore, and have it just be kind of dropped in was a little weird and disorienting. It's just probably why, a large part of why some of the stuff feels like, wait, what? They do what?
Uh-huh.
But I mean, yes, it was fun. It was fun seeing Scotty. I think I'm okay with this actor playing Scotty. Though I have to tell you, he's chewing on the Scottish accent more than James Doohan did. I mean, it's just, and he certainly wasn't shy about it. So
I think he may actually be Scottish. I think he may have a legit Scottish accent.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I overall did enjoy it. I am interested in next season. I am anticipating next season. I am a little concerned about how they are going to wrap this up, because they've actually done a halfway decent job of me giving a shit about even the annoying characters. So yeah, I don't necessarily, but yeah, they're not, they're gonna have, if they don't have somebody have not make it, it's gonna feel cheap.
Well, they've certainly set up Ortegas.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, there's not. If you assume they're not going to kill off a character who has established future canon, your only options are Ortegas, Pella.
Well, Bella's not there. It's really,
Well, but they're going
you
to
got
lead a rescue
Ortegas and
team,
Battelle
right?
there, right?
Yeah, but they're going to lead a rescue team, right? I mean,
They're gonna actually,
Yeah.
they're gonna talk to him in plus, minus, greater than, less than language.
oh my God, why did you bring up Star Trek Discovery? Jesus. Anyway,
There's gonna be a Gorn over there looking through like his telescope, being like, "There are 4 lights."
Battelle, I mean, I've written Battelle off. I don't think she's coming through this one.
I don't think she is either.
I think
I think
Ortega is a better than even bet to not make it through.
they're
Then
gonna
we can
they're
bring
gonna
Sulu in.
extract they're gonna extract the Gorn from Battelle, that's going to kill her, and then they're going to raise it and like domesticate it and use it as the emissary because the thing grows up in like 48 hours. And they're going to use it to communicate with the Gorn ship to get them to release their people. Prisoner transfer.
Oh, La'an. La'an's the other one that's not safe.
Right.
So
Trying to.
that's pretty much it on the ship. Even Sam Kirk is in the original series.
Yes, he is.
So
Not a long time, but he is.
right.
I'm trying to. It feels like there's somebody else that's. I mean, Una.
Well, isn't she in the pilot for TOS?
But the pilot takes place before this, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it is Captain Pike, isn't it? I
No,
don't
it's
know if it was before this or not. It was Captain Pike. Wasn't he in the pilot?
Was it Pike or
Pike,
April?
Spock.
No, that was Pike. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it does take place chronologically before this.
Remember Boo Box?
Yeah, but that wasn't when he went in the boo box. That's when he goes to the planet first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, he goes in the boo box in the second pilot, right? The one that reuses all the footage from the first.
Right.
But yeah, okay. Anyway, I think, but regardless, Una may not be safe.
I mean, she's the only mention of her having like, a life of any sort after Strange New Worlds is the Strange New Worlds era. We'll say is in Lower Decks,
The pinup poster.
And you don't need to be alive. I mean, you don't need to have a long life to be a legend. So,
right. So yeah, so we could potentially lose Una, La'an, Ortegas, and Pella.
All women.
Get your fridges ready. um, that's a comic book joke. I don't know if that.
Okay.
Too. They call it fridging women when you kill a woman because the Green Lantern found his girlfriend in a fridge.
Oh. Okay.
So when you kill a woman, just it's a little deeper than just killing a woman. It's when you do it basically as the motivation for a male character doing something.
Right.
And that's the only reason, when they call it frigid. Anyway.
Gotcha.
I'm so glad that I can teach you guys something.
You do so on the regular, man.
So, what do you guys think of season 2? Before I ask that, let's play a game called Season 1 or Season 2. Let's go episode by episode. And you just tell me quickly, Season 1 or Season 2, like which episode you got. So the first episode of Season 1 was Strange New Worlds, where they go to the alien planet to rescue Una, and Pike beams into the middle of their Congress and gives a speech. And the first episode of Season 2 is Broken Circle, which is where Binga and Chapel go John Wick on the halls of a ship that's busted out from under the ground. Which one you got, Willie?
Season 1.
Warden?
God, this is hard because I am struggling to remember some of.
Shoot from the hip. We're half-assing this just like every other thing in Strange and Sheer Fucking Hubris. So,
Season 2.
Oh, Willie had the correct answer.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Episode 2, we got Children of the Comet, where Uhura sings to the comet to make it move, or Ad Astra per Aspera, the courtroom episode. Warden, what you got?
2.
Willie?
1.
Oh. Episode 3 is Ghosts of Illyria, where this was where we found out Una was Illyrian. She saved everybody because they got addicted to light because of the ooky spooky ghosts on the planet, I think. Or the time travel with Kirk and La'an. Tomorrow. Willie, 1 or 2? Sound
2.
like a fucking optometrist. 2.
Nice.
Warden?
2.
Episode 4, Memento Mori, which is where we get the Gorn introduction, the Run Silent, Run Deep episode. Or Among the Lotus Eaters, the Forgetting. Warden?
1.
Willie?
1.
You are both correct. That is a unanimous decision. All right, episode 5 is Spock shenanigans. We got Spock-a-mock or charades. Spock-a-mock is the Freaky Friday where he swaps with Pringle, and charades is where he becomes human. Willie?
2.
Warden?
Yeah, 2. They're both fun, but 2.
Speaking of fun, the 6th episode is the Dead Kid as a Battery episode. Or
Oh my!
season
Just
2,
2.
episode 6,
2. Whichever one 2 was, it's
blowing
2.
up the gas station. Willie, you got blowing up the gas station?
Yep.
All right, Warden.
Yeah, I've got 2 as well. Though not to say that the battery episode is bad. It's just damn.
And we still decided to leave it in the past where Pike nailed whoever that chick was. Probably didn't fess that one up to Captain Patel.
Yeah.
When the alien bursts out of her chest, he's going to be like, well, I guess I'll have to tell her about that one.
And she's like, it's okay, Chris, you can fuck other people. He's like, oh, by the way, that kind of reminds me, funny thing. Remember when I told you about the dead kid? She's like, yeah, that was horrible. He's like,
It wasn't all
this
horrible.
isn't going to make it any better. All right, 7th episode of the season. This was the hardest one for me because I had forgotten about this episode. It's not hard, but luck of the draw. The Serene Squall, the one where Pike becomes the captain of a pirate ship and leads a mutiny. I had forgotten about this one. So the Serene Squall or Those Old Scientists, the Lower Decks crossover.
Oh, man. 2.
I really liked Serene Squall, but you guys are right. It's got to be 2. All right, season 1, 8th episode. These are tonally a little bit different.
Just a bit.
Elysian Kingdom, the fairy tale episode, or Under the Cloak of War. Dr. Mbenga goes on a murder spree. Warden?
1.
Willie?
1.
That one's unanimous. All right, season 1, the 9th episode was All Those Who Wander. That's the alien episode where we first get the chest busting Gorn and Hemmer dies, Ripley style. Or Subspace Rhapsody. Warden?
2, bitch.
Yeah.
No, we
Willie?
saw that coming. 1.
Willie is correct. And then the final episode, season 1, we had Quality of Mercy, which was the callback to Balance of Terror, where future Pike comes and is like, we fucked up, Chris. And Kirk.
You fucked up, Chris.
Or Hedge Money.
1. Easy.
Willie?
Una.
All right, y'all chitty chat for a second.
Are you tallying these up?
He's filling it. He's filling in his spreadsheet. Yes.
Yeah.
Now
that,
oh shit, we don't have the rating, the money for that. Okay, never mind.
Now that we've gone through the head to heads, I think season 1's definitely going to win out. Although it may be closer than it seems. But
Did they have anything about when season 3 was at least expect? No, they have. No.
Well, you're not gonna believe this. We have a dead ass tie because Warden is wrong so much.
No, fuck
It
you.
is 15 votes apiece. Season 1, Joe Bob. Season 1 wins for Joe Bob 6-4. For Mr. Willie 6-4, and for Warden, it loses 3-7.
oh,
Warden, bold choices. Warden was by himself. What? Warden, you did say Broken Circle on over Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Yep. Warden was.
I say that because Strange New Worlds, as much as I enjoyed it, it was still very much a first episode.
Well, you
and all that comes with.
Yep.
Whereas
you were by yourself on that one in Subspace Rhapsody. But everything else you actually were with either me or Willie. So obviously when we discuss it though, I mean, it's not. I did that kind of to remind you guys of what the episodes are. So overall, what do you think, Willie? Do you take season 1 or season 2? Which one do you think's better?
no, that's tough. I think I'm becoming too attached to like season long arc. Because the episodic style is a little bit older. So I think I'm probably gonna, even though individually head to head, I think a lot of episodes in one out. I did appreciate, kind of broadening the scope and the world and everything that they did in 2. We got a lot more Klingon. We got, even though the Gorn, I still haven't made up my mind about, but at least we've got the Gorn thing, we've got the Klingon thing. You're getting a lot more interactions, I feel like, with Pike and Starfleet. Kind of.
Well, with Pike and April.
Yeah, well,
that's the only person we ever call it Starfleet.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, so
No,
that's.
I wasn't complaining.
I think on the whole, I would give season 2 the nudge over season 1, but I think I liked more episodes of season 1 better.
That's fair. It's more than the sum of its parts. Now, even though season 2 did have, I mean, I guess you can say it did have a little more of a season arc, the individual episodes were tonally much different across the board than in season 1. I mean, granted, season 1 you did have some standouts like Elysian Kingdom, but you didn't have the whiplash of, well, I don't know, the whiplash from the dead kid to the pirate episode that's pretty good whiplash.
Pretty significant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I still feel like season 2 really swung for the fences when going the other genres. Warden, what do you think? I mean, even in the head-to-head, you had season 2 by a lot.
First thing that I mean, the first point to make is this is like, for me, this is like picking between, do I like this great thing better or this great thing better? I mean, it's like ultimately a pointless question because it's all good as far as I'm concerned for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed. I think season
Perhaps.
1 was, huh?
I think perhaps.
I love the way you
No.
interrupted him right as he gave his answer, Willie. God damn you.
I can't miss a grumpy old man reference. Come on.
I think perhaps no. No.
No.
Warden, 1 or 2, which one were you saying before you were so rudely interrupted?
What I was saying was that I think season 1 was more tightly crafted in the sense that they, like, it is very tonally consistent, as was already said. And whereas, and also like you said, they really swung for the fences in season 2, as far as trying to do different things. And I actually really appreciate that a lot. I like that they were trying to go in different directions and and do things that they don't do on TV anymore. I mean, they took their a show that's at least um on paper a drama, and they did some genuinely silly funny stuff. And also did some extremely, I mean, they did the range on season 2 is just crazy.
Mhm.
Um so I really appreciate, I mean, the effort that they did there. And you don't get I mean axiomatically, but you don't get season 2 without a season 1 that was as successful as it was. Because if season 1 was even a little bit more meh, they're not going to have the stones to try some of the stuff they tried in season 2. Um they're going to be like, let's reinforce and do what's, and I think that's the kind of thing that infected, and I know we don't want to talk about it, but Disco, um they spent they've spent 4 seasons course correcting,
Mhm.
back and forth. What, too much of this, too much of that, and when ultimately the problem is too much of Burnham. But they can't do that because the whole show is built around her in the first place. So, yeah, I think I like. I am a big Strange New Worlds fan. I like season 2 better. Um, but I think season 1 and season 2 go hand in hand. I think you don't. I mean, more than you wouldn't think it with an episodic based show, but you need season. I mean, these build on each other in a way that just, or I should say, just as much as a serialized show does.
It kind of
It's
feels
just
like
different in a different way.
it kind of feels almost like a football game where, like, your first drive out is heavily scripted.
Hmm.
There's certain plays you wanna run and certain things that you wanna hit to set up later in the game,
Hmm.
and you play it, a lot of times a little bit closer to the vest. They're high percentage plays, that are gonna be probably good ones, but maybe
Hmm.
not your craziest ones. And then later in the game, as you get a feel for things, you kind of open it up and maybe take chances here and there. And that's what season 2 feels like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would anticipate that in season 3, it's kind of a mix of the two. I think they're going to be like, okay, We figured out what we tried some things. We figured out what's going to work. And what maybe doesn't work so well for us, or what we might have to, if we want to do that, tweak it a bit. And yeah, that if anything, that just makes me more excited for season 3, because I think it's just going to I mean, I hate to say it's going to just keep getting better and better, but at least for the short term, I have hope that it will. But on the other hand, a strike could ruin everything because everybody loses the plot in more ways than one, and blah. But I mean, I just feel like they have things set up really well for continuing this and making the most of the format. I mean, it's not just that they went back to episodic Star Trek, but they have gone back to episodic Star Trek and are just nailing the crap out of it.
You know what would be hilarious for season 3 is if we get, they introduce the new Sulu, and then Chekhov, who is the youngest. I mean, he should be in like high school at this point, but they just bring back Walter Koenig to play it instead of recasting, and everybody just acts like he's 17 since he's already come back to Star Trek once.
Yep.
Well, I'm also excited about season 3. I don't think we'll see Walter Koenig as Chekhov, but like you guys, I really liked both of them. I'm gonna say season 1 was a little bit better. It's certainly, I feel like, more consistent. There wasn't an episode in season 1 that I felt like didn't land for me. The weakest one was probably Children of the Comet, or maybe Ghost of Illyria, and those were early in the season. But I loved Elysian Kingdom. I really enjoyed the pirate ship one. The Dead Kid one it landed, but it felt very Star Trek. Spock Amok was fun. Memento Mori was great. I thought the pilot was great. And Quality of Mercy is, I mean, it's just fantastic. And I thought the Alien episode, the All Those Who Wonder, was good. Where in season 2, I mean, there were ones that I loved those old scientists. I was probably too harsh on Subspace Rhapsody because I do like some of it. I liked. Now, I liked some of the songs. I went back and listened to them again. Some of the songs were pretty good. Still not all of them, but and I loved Charades, but like Lost in Translation, the gas station one, I was okay with it. Among the Lotus Eaters, I didn't really care for. Broken Circle, I didn't think was that great. So, and when I say not that great, I mean not to the standard that season 1 set and the other episodes of season 2 set. So I'm not calling them bad episodes by any stretch of the imagination. I'd still rather watch all of those than just about any Discovery episode, and more than any Star Trek Picard season 1 or 2 episode, except for maybe the Space Nazi Future one. But I think I'll give season 1 just a slight edge because it managed to go 10 for 10. It wasn't always swinging for the fences, but I mean, it's hard to argue with 10 for 10. Well, I think it's a wrap, gentlemen.
That's fair.
I've enjoyed discussing this season more than any other season.
We could, I mean, yeah, we could say positive things.
Yeah, yeah.
On a semi-regular basis.
Between Picard season 3, Strange New World season 2, and replacing Discovery with a couple classic Trek episodes. That's it's been for a good Good season discussion. Good season of Star Trek watching. And I was happy that, for Willie especially, but Warden too, you got to see some episodes of Star Trek you'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite of the classic ones?
Oh crap.
In the Pale Moonlight, hands down.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think though, which is of the ones that either I didn't have a clear memory of, or had just plain never seen. I'm trying to remember.
We got to watch a little
What the most-
Enterprise. Willie got a
Yeah, I was
taste
gonna
of
say-
Voyager.
I was gonna say, In the Pale Moonlight, it's kind of like Men Against Boys.
It
So
really
that-
is.
I should probably remove that one. In which case, I might actually go with I don't actually remember Terror of War or what was it? Silent Terror. What was the Run Silent, Run Deep?
Balance of Terror.
Balance of
Balance
Terror.
of Terror?
It's a
That was
really
really
good one.
Oh, the TOS episode. Yeah,
that was a very strong one.
I have a real soft spot for Take Me Out to the Holosuite. It's silly, but death to the opposition.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. And
Kill him.
I there's some the Enterprise episodes were good. It made me kind of wistful for, oh shoot, they probably really they didn't, that show really didn't get a fair shake.
it did not.
I mean,
It did not.
And I appreciate you reminding me just how great the Magnificent Ferengi is.
I can't believe that neither one of you have
Ferengi.
I
That's a fun one. I can't believe no one's brought up Tattoo. But I love me some Chakotay.
It's in the same caliber as In the Pale Moonlight. Like, it's not even a comparison.
I mean,
It's not even a comparison is accurate.
oh boy, yeah. No, it was definitely the most. I don't know if it's the best season as far as being, quote, good radio or good television, but it's the most enjoyable season to just have to get through.
I'll put a poll up for our Patreons, and they'll because I guess this is season 4 of Sheer Fucking Hubris, or season 5.
4.
I think it's technically 5 because we did one for each Discovery season, and then we did this one, Sans Discovery.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. Oh dear God, Discovery.
Don't do it, Warden.
Yeah.
Dark hole.
Don't do what?
Don't think about Discovery.
Can you believe we did 2 full seasons of this show just doing Discovery?
Well, and not only that, like,
Mhm.
do you remember how much we boiled those episodes down? Like, I mean, we would almost go scene by scene talking about them.
Mhm.
Brutal. But it was a different format then.
Do you remember the fact that there through those 2 seasons, I could say almost nothing?
Right.
Not that I say a
That's
lot
what I was
now.
gonna say. It was a different
but-
dynamic if Warden had seen it.
Oh my God, like watching a train wreck. All right, that's a wrap. Star Trek Picard Season 3, all done. Bravo. Star Trek Strange New World Season 2, all done. Bravo. Warden, I'm going to do a 7 and just cut to the ship zooming out. That's your cue.
Don't bow to that pressure to be legendary.
I am already legendary.
Yes, you are, sir. This is Biblio Warden Joe Bob and Mr. Willie signing off.
And now we all sign our name on screen.